In the heart of an upscale neighborhood, nestled between designer cafes and high-end art galleries, stood a luxury boutique known for its exclusivity. The store was famous not just for its fashion, but also for the aura it exuded, a place where only the wealthy and influential shopped. Its glass windows sparkled with mannequins dressed in outfits worth more than most people's monthly salaries. Inside, shelves were lined with handbags that cost as much as cars, shoes encrusted with jewels and dresses tailored to perfection. It was a world reserved for those who could afford to live lavishly. The boutique staff prided themselves on serving elite clients, celebrities, socialites, and business tycoons who spent fortunes without batting an eye. Every day, they prepared meticulously for these patrons, ensuring the store looked pristine and their service impeccable. But one sunny afternoon, something unusual happened. A young black woman walked into the store, and her presence immediately caught everyone's attention, not because of who she was, but because of how she looked. She wore faded jeans, scuffed sneakers, and a hoodie that seemed like it had seen better days. Her hair was pulled back into a simple ponytail, and she carried no designer purse or flashy accessories. To the sales associates, she appeared out of place, as though she had wandered in by mistake. They glanced at each other, exchanging knowing looks. One whispered to another, "She doesn't look like our usual customer." Another rolled their eyes slightly, already writing her off as someone who wouldn't buy anything. Despite their dismissive attitudes, the woman moved through the store calmly, taking her time to browse. She ran her fingers over silk blouses, admired glittering necklaces, and paused to examine intricate embroidery on a gown. Her movements were deliberate, almost thoughtful, as if she were savoring every detail of the collection. At one point, she smiled warmly at a passing sales associate, hoping for acknowledgement. Instead, she received only a curt nod in return. Her attempts to engage were met with indifference. When she picked up a scarf to inspect its fabric, one employee muttered under their breath, "Probably just touching things she can't afford." Though the comment wasn't loud enough for others to hear clearly, the woman caught it. She felt a pang of hurt but didn't let it show. Instead, she continued browsing, pretending not to notice the subtle snubs coming her way. The staff grew bolder as the minutes passed. One associate openly avoided making eye contact when the woman approached a display of handbags. Another deliberately turned away mid-conversation when she tried to ask about a dress hanging nearby. Each interaction chipped away at her patience, yet she refused to react angrily. She reminded herself that this kind of treatment wasn't new. It was something she'd encountered before in similar settings. Still, it stung deeply, especially here, in a place meant to celebrate beauty and style. As the hours went by, the boutique began filling up with other customers, wealthy women draped in designer clothing, accompanied by assistants carrying their purchases. These shoppers received immediate attention from the staff who fawned over them, offering refreshments and personalized recommendations. Meanwhile, the young woman remained largely ignored, except for occasional glances that carried undertones of mockery. It was clear the employees believed she didn't belong there, and they made sure she knew it. But what the staff failed to realize was that this woman wasn't ordinary. Beneath her casual attire lay a quiet strength and determination. She wasn't here to prove herself to anyone, but she certainly wasn't going to tolerate being treated as less than human. As she wandered through the store, she started mentally cataloging items she liked: a pair of emerald earrings, a sleek leather tote, a sequined evening gown. With each selection, a plan formed in her mind. This boutique, which prided itself on catering to the elite, was about to learn a lesson it would never forget. By late afternoon, the tension in the air was palpable. The staff had grown comfortable in their assumptions, confident that the woman would leave empty-handed. Little did they know, she was preparing to make a move that would shake the very foundation of their business. For now, though, she simply smiled softly to herself, keeping her intentions hidden. After all, revenge is best served unexpectedly, and she intended to serve hers in style. As the boutique buzzed with activity, the young woman continued her quiet exploration of the store. She moved from one section to another, occasionally picking up items that caught her eye. A shimmering gold clutch here, a pair of stiletto heels. There, each piece was carefully examined before being added to her growing mental list. Despite the staff's dismissive behavior, she remained composed, refusing to let their rudeness rattle her. Instead, she focused on the exquisite craftsmanship of the items around her, savoring the irony that these luxury goods were being showcased in a place where kindness seemed absent. At one point, she paused near a display of diamond jewelry, her gaze lingering on a breathtaking necklace. The pendant sparkled brilliantly under the boutique's soft lighting, its intricate design hinting at both elegance and extravagance. Unable to resist, she reached out to touch it, marveling at how the diamonds caught the light. But as soon as her fingers brushed against the cool metal, a sales associate appeared beside her, seemingly out of nowhere. "That piece is quite expensive," the associate said pointedly, her tone laced with condescension. "Are you sure you'd even want to try it?" The comment hung in the air, heavy with implication. It wasn't just a question, it was a challenge, a subtle reminder that the woman didn't fit the image of someone who belonged in this world. For a moment, the room felt smaller, the weight of judgment pressing down on her. Yet instead of reacting angrily or walking away, she simply smiled. "Thank you for letting me know," she replied calmly, placing the necklace back on its velvet stand. Her voice carried no trace of bitterness, only quiet resolve. The sales associate smirked faintly, clearly pleased with herself for putting the broke shopper in her place. Satisfied that she had made her point, she turned and walked off, leaving the woman alone once more. But what the associate, and everyone else in the store, failed to realize was that the woman wasn't intimidated. If anything, their behavior only fueled her determination. She glanced around the boutique, taking stock of everything. The racks of designer dresses, the shelves lined with handbags, the glittering displays of accessories. Each item represented not just wealth but also power, the kind of power that could silence critics and shatter assumptions. By evening, the boutique began winding down for the day. Most of the other customers had left, their arms laden with shopping bags and their wallets significantly lighter. The staff gathered near the cash register, chatting casually about their commissions and plans for the night. Meanwhile, the young woman remained in the background, still browsing quietly. To the employees, she was practically invisible now, a non-entity they assumed would slip out unnoticed. They couldn't have been more wrong. With a deep breath, the woman approached the counter, clutching several items she had selected throughout the day. There was a tailored blazer, a silk scarf, a pair of designer sunglasses, and a leather handbag, all pieces she had admired earlier. The same sales associate who had mocked her earlier reluctantly stepped forward to assist, forcing a polite smile onto her face. As she scanned the items, her expression shifted from boredom to shock. The total amount displayed on the screen was far higher than anyone had anticipated. "Is this correct?" the associate asked nervously, double-checking the register. The woman nodded confidently, pulling out a sleek black card, the kind reserved for individuals whose bank accounts boasted figures most people couldn't fathom. The room fell silent as the transaction processed without issue. Every employee froze, their eyes widening in disbelief. Who was this woman? And why hadn't they treated her better? But the woman wasn't done yet. After paying for her first round of purchases, she turned around and began grabbing more items from the shelves. Handbags, shoes, scarves, anything that caught her eye went straight into her cart. By now, the entire staff hovered anxiously, unsure whether to intervene or stay out of her way. Finally, unable to contain their curiosity, or perhaps their greed, the manager stepped forward and stammered, "Ma'am, can we help you with anything else?" With a sly grin, the woman replied, "Actually, yes, I think I'll take everything." The staff stared at her, dumbfounded. Did she mean everything? "Yes," she confirmed, gesturing toward the racks. "Every single item in this store." For a moment, no one moved. The words hung in the air like a thunderclap reverberating through the boutique. Then chaos erupted. Employees scrambled to calculate the cost of clearing out the entire inventory. Designer gowns, limited edition handbags, custom-made suits. It all added up to an astronomical sum. Yet the woman showed no hesitation. She leaned against the counter, scrolling through her phone casually while the staff worked frantically. Some whispered among themselves, speculating about who she might be. Others rushed to check stock levels, ensuring nothing was missed in the grand tally. When the final bill was presented, jaws dropped. It was a figure so large that even the manager struggled to say it aloud. Millions of dollars worth of merchandise, all purchased by a woman they had dismissed as unworthy. But once again, the woman slid her black card across the counter without batting an eyelash. As the payment went through, cheers erupted among the employees, not because they cared about her victory, but because they knew their commissions would skyrocket thanks to her purchase. Afterward, the manager attempted to smooth things over. "We're so glad you found what you were looking for today," he gushed, extending his hand. The woman accepted it politely but offered no forgiveness. "I hope next time," she said coolly, "you'll remember to treat everyone equally, regardless of how they look." Her words hit hard. For the first time, the staff truly understood the weight of their actions and the consequences of judging others based on appearances. The boutique had prided itself on exclusivity, but now it faced a reckoning. Its reputation would never be the same, and neither would the way its employees interacted with customers. As the woman exited the store, her arms laden with shopping bags, she felt a sense of satisfaction wash over her. This wasn't just about revenge. It was about proving a point. Wealth isn't always visible, and neither is resilience. And sometimes the best way to teach a lesson is to make it unforgettable. The boutique was in a state of disbelief. The staff, who had spent the entire day dismissing the young woman as someone unworthy of their attention, now found themselves scrambling to fulfill her request, to buy everything. It wasn't just a purchase. It was a declaration, a statement that would echo far beyond the walls of the store. As the reality of the situation sank in, panic rippled through the room. Employees exchanged frantic glances, unsure whether to celebrate or cringe at what had just happened. The manager, a middle-aged man with carefully styled hair and an expensive wristwatch, tried his best to maintain composure. He clapped his hands together and gave a forced smile, addressing the team. "All right, everyone, let's get this done professionally," he announced, though his voice wavered slightly. Deep down, he knew they had made a grave mistake. This wasn't just any customer. It was someone who had exposed their biases in the most public and humiliating way possible. One by one, the employees sprang into action. They began pulling items off shelves, emptying racks, and boxing up every last piece of merchandise. Dresses worth thousands of dollars were folded neatly into garment bags. Designer handbags were stacked onto carts, their price tags still dangling. Like trophies, shoes, scarves, jewelry, nothing was spared. The once bustling boutique quickly transformed into a scene of organized chaos, with staff members darting back and forth, ensuring nothing was left behind. Meanwhile, the young woman stood near the counter, observing everything with quiet satisfaction. She scrolled through her phone casually, occasionally glancing up to watch the flurry of activity around her. Her demeanor remained calm, almost amused, as if she were watching a play unfold. Every so often, she caught snippets of whispered conversations between the employees. "Who is she?" one sales associate muttered to another, her eyes wide with awe. "I heard she's some kind of tech billionaire," another replied, shaking her head in disbelief. The rumors swirled, but none of them mattered to the woman. What mattered was the lesson she had delivered, and the way it had shaken the foundation of this exclusive world. For years, places like this boutique had operated under unspoken rules. Wealth equaled status, appearances dictated treatment, and anyone who didn't fit the mold was treated as invisible. Today, she had shattered those assumptions, proving that true wealth isn't always visible, and neither is power. As the final calculations were being made, the manager approached her cautiously. His earlier confidence had evaporated, replaced by nervous energy. "Ma'am," he began, his tone dripping with forced politeness, "we truly appreciate your patronage today. Is there anything else we can do for you?" The woman looked up from her phone, meeting his gaze with piercing clarity. "You've already done enough," she said coolly, her words cutting through the tension like a knife. "But I'll tell you this. Next time, don't judge someone based on how they look, because you never know who might walk through your door or what they're capable of." Her response left the manager speechless. He nodded stiffly, unable to argue or defend himself. Around him, the staff exchanged uneasy glances, guilt etched across their faces. Each employee replayed the events of the day in their minds, the dismissive comments, the rolled eyes, the outright rudeness, and realized how horribly wrong they had been. Their actions hadn't just cost them respect, they had nearly cost them a sale worth millions. When the final bill was tallied and processed, the total amount was staggering. Millions of dollars worth of inventory had been wiped clean in a single transaction. For a moment, the staff couldn't help but marvel at the sheer scale of it all. But beneath the excitement lay a growing sense of unease. This wasn't just a record-breaking sale, it was a wake-up call. The boutique prided itself on exclusivity, yet its very exclusivity had blinded them to the humanity of their customers. And now they were paying the price, not financially, but morally. After the transaction was complete, the woman gathered her belongings and prepared to leave. She carried only a fraction of her purchases with her, arranging for the rest to be delivered to her address. Before stepping out, she turned to face the staff one last time. "Thank you for the experience," she said, her tone laced with irony. Then, without another word, she walked out of the boutique, leaving behind a stunned and humbled team. Outside, the sun was setting, casting golden hues over the upscale neighborhood. The woman took a deep breath, feeling a mix of emotions, relief, pride, and a tinge of sadness. She had achieved what she set out to do, but the victory felt bittersweet. Discrimination wasn't new to her. She had faced it countless times before, in different forms and settings. Yet each encounter left a mark, reminding her of the work still needed to create a world where people are judged not by their appearance, but by their character. That evening, she decided to share her story online. Using her social media platform, she posted about her experience at the boutique, including screenshots of her receipt. The post quickly went viral, sparking outrage and admiration in equal measure. Thousands of people flooded the boutique's Instagram page with comments accusing them of racism and classism. Others praised the woman for standing up against prejudice, calling her a hero and an inspiration. Within hours, the boutique issued a public apology. "We deeply regret the treatment our guest experienced today," the statement read. "This behavior does not reflect our values, and we are committed to implementing sensitivity training for all employees to ensure such incidents never happen again." While the apology was appreciated by some, others remained skeptical, questioning whether the boutique's actions were genuine or merely a PR move. For the woman, the real victory wasn't the apology. It was the conversation her story sparked. People began sharing their own experiences of being mistreated in luxury stores, highlighting the pervasive nature of discrimination in high-end retail. Discussions about inclusivity, respect, and systemic change dominated social media feeds, drawing attention to issues that had long been ignored. Influencers, activists, and even celebrities joined the dialogue, amplifying her message and calling for accountability across industries. Amidst the whirlwind of attention, the woman remained grounded. She donated a portion of her extravagant haul to local charities supporting underprivileged women, ensuring her actions aligned with her values. She kept some items for herself, of course, but insisted that her goal had never been to hoard wealth. It was to send a message. And boy, had the boutique gotten the memo. In the days that followed, the boutique underwent significant changes. New policies were implemented to ensure every customer received equal treatment, regardless of their appearance. Staff members attended workshops focused on dismantling biases and fostering inclusivity. Slowly but surely, the store began rebuilding, its reputation not just as a seller of luxury goods but as a champion of fairness and equality. As for the woman, she continued making waves. She launched a platform dedicated to amplifying marginalized voices in fashion and advocating for systemic change across industries. Her story served as a reminder that wealth isn't always visible, and neither is resilience. To this day, whenever someone walks into that boutique, employees greet them warmly, remembering the lesson they learned the hard way. Never judge a book by its cover, because sometimes the person you underestimate might just turn your world upside down, in the best possible way. The aftermath of the woman's bold move at the luxury boutique rippled far beyond the confines of the store. Her story, shared online with striking honesty and undeniable evidence, became a viral sensation overnight. Social media platforms buzzed, with reactions ranging from outrage to admiration, as people dissected every detail of what had happened. For many, it was more than just an entertaining tale. It was a wake-up call, exposing the deep-rooted biases that often go unchallenged in spaces meant for exclusivity. Her post included screenshots of her receipt, which listed extravagant sums next to designer labels, along with a caption that read, "Wealth isn't always visible, but discrimination is. Today I bought a lesson, and maybe they'll learn one too." The words struck a chord with thousands. Within hours, the boutique's social media accounts were flooded with comments. Some users expressed support for the woman, calling her actions empowering and long overdue. Others criticized the store harshly, accusing its staff of perpetuating racism and classism. A few even shared their own stories of being treated poorly in similar settings, recounting moments when they felt invisible or judged based on their appearance. The backlash against the boutique grew louder by the minute. Influencers with massive followings weighed in, amplifying the conversation. One popular fashion blogger wrote a scathing article titled, "Luxury Without Humanity: How High-End Retail Fails Marginalized Shoppers." Another creator posted a video essay analyzing the incident, urging brands to take responsibility for fostering inclusive environments. The message was clear. This wasn't just about one store. It was about an entire industry built on exclusion and elitism. Faced with mounting pressure, the boutique issued a second statement, this time more detailed and heartfelt. "Our team has taken immediate steps to address the issues raised," the announcement read. "We are committed to creating a welcoming environment for all customers, regardless of background or appearance. This includes mandatory diversity, training, and ongoing evaluations of our policies." While some praised the response, others remained skeptical, pointing out that apologies often come too late when reputations are at stake. Behind the scenes, the boutique scrambled to implement changes. Employees attended workshops led by experts in bias awareness and inclusivity. Managers reviewed customer service protocols, emphasizing the importance of treating everyone equally. Even the store's interior design was revamped slightly, replacing signs of overt exclusivity with messages celebrating individuality. These efforts weren't perfect. Some critics argued they were superficial, but they marked the beginning of a shift toward accountability. Meanwhile, the woman became an overnight sensation. Dubbed the Queen of Retail Justice by fans, she inspired countless discussions about prejudice in high-end shopping environments. Media outlets reached out for interviews, eager to hear her perspective. Instead of seeking fame, however, she used her newfound platform to advocate for systemic change. She appeared on talk shows, participated in panel discussions, and collaborated with organizations fighting against discrimination in retail spaces. Her goal wasn't personal glory, it was progress. One particularly impactful moment came during a live interview on a morning news program. When asked why she chose to spend such an enormous amount of money instead of simply leaving the store, she responded thoughtfully. "I could have walked away," she admitted. "But walking away wouldn't have changed anything. They would have continued treating others the way they treated me, with judgment and disrespect. Sometimes you have to show people the cost of their assumptions." Her answer resonated deeply, earning applause from viewers and further solidifying her status as a symbol of empowerment. People admired not just her wealth but her courage and conviction. She represented something larger than herself, a movement demanding respect and equality in places where privilege often overrides humanity. As weeks turned into months, the boutique slowly began rebuilding its image. Sales recovered, though, not without challenges. Many former loyal customers expressed hesitation about returning, citing concerns about authenticity. Were these changes genuine or merely performative? To prove their commitment, the boutique partnered with local charities, focused on supporting underrepresented communities. They hosted events featuring diverse designers and offered scholarships to aspiring creatives from marginalized backgrounds. Slowly, trust started to rebuild, not entirely, but enough to keep the business afloat. For the woman, life returned to normalcy after the initial whirlwind of attention. Yet she didn't stop advocating for change. Inspired by the overwhelming response to her story, she launched a digital platform called Equal Threads, dedicated to amplifying marginalized voices in fashion. Through podcasts, articles, and community forums, Equal Threads highlighted stories of resilience, creativity, and triumph over adversity. It also served as a resource hub, providing tools and guidance for individuals navigating discriminatory systems. Her work extended beyond fashion, touching industries like tech, art, and entertainment. She spoke passionately about dismantling barriers and creating opportunities for those historically excluded. Her influence grew, earning her invitations to speak at global conferences and collaborate with policymakers. Despite her success, she remained humble, often reminding audiences that her journey was just one chapter in a much larger story. Looking back, the boutique staff reflected on how drastically their perspective had shifted. What had once been a routine day of catering to wealthy clients transformed into a pivotal moment of reckoning. Employees who had initially dismissed the woman now found themselves rethinking their approach to customer service. They learned to greet each person warmly, regardless of what they wore or how they looked. They listened actively, ensuring no one felt invisible or unwelcome. And perhaps most importantly, they recognized the power of humility, the ability to admit mistakes and grow from them. By the end of the year, the boutique emerged stronger, albeit humbler. Its transformation served as a case study for other businesses grappling with similar issues. Industry leaders cited it as proof that accountability and inclusivity could coexist with profitability. The woman's impact rippled outward, inspiring change not only within the boutique but across the broader landscape of luxury retail. And yet, for all the accolades and achievements, the woman never lost sight of why she acted in the first place. It wasn't about revenge or proving a point, it was about justice, about showing the world that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity, no matter where they come from or what they wear. In doing so, she reminded us all of a simple truth. True luxury lies not in material possessions, but in kindness, respect, and the courage to stand up for what's right. To this day, whenever someone walks into that boutique, or any high-end store, they're greeted with warmth and sincerity. Employees remember the lessons they learned the hard way. Never judge a book by its cover, because sometimes the person you underestimate might just turn your world upside down, in the best possible way. Months after the incident at the boutique, the ripple effects of the young woman's actions continued to shape not only the store, but also the broader fashion and retail industries. Her bold move had ignited a conversation that refused to fade, sparking debates about inclusivity, representation, and systemic change in spaces traditionally reserved for the elite. What started as a single act of defiance evolved into a movement, one that challenged long-held assumptions and forced businesses to confront uncomfortable truths. The boutique, once synonymous with exclusivity, became a symbol of transformation. Its efforts to rebuild its reputation weren't limited to internal changes. It sought to redefine its place in the industry by actively engaging with marginalized communities. The store began hosting events that celebrated diversity, inviting designers from underrepresented backgrounds to showcase their work. These events drew attention from both critics and supporters, signaling a shift toward inclusivity that resonated with many. Customers who had previously felt unwelcome returned cautiously, eager to see if the boutique's promises of equality were genuine. For the staff, every interaction with a customer now carried extra weight. Employees approached each shopper with care, ensuring they felt valued regardless of appearance or perceived status. The dismissive attitudes that had once defined the boutique's culture were replaced with empathy and respect. Even the store's layout was adjusted to create a more welcoming atmosphere. Brighter lighting, inclusive mannequins, and signage celebrating individuality replaced the cold, intimidating aesthetic of the past. While some skeptics questioned whether these changes were superficial, others praised the boutique for taking meaningful steps toward progress. Meanwhile, the woman at the center of the story remained steadfast in her mission to drive change beyond the confines of one store. Her platform, Equal Threads, gained traction worldwide, becoming a hub for individuals seeking resources, support, and inspiration. She collaborated with activists, academics, and industry leaders to tackle issues ranging from workplace discrimination to lack of representation in media. Through podcasts, live discussions, and written content, she amplified voices that had long been silenced, shedding light on experiences similar to her own. One particularly impactful initiative launched by Equal Threads was a mentorship program aimed at young designers and entrepreneurs from marginalized communities. Participants received guidance, funding, and exposure to help them break into competitive industries like fashion and tech. The program quickly gained recognition, attracting sponsors and partners eager to contribute to its success. For many beneficiaries, it wasn't just an opportunity. It was validation that their dreams mattered regardless of societal barriers. As her influence grew, so did the scrutiny she faced. Critics accused her of using her wealth as leverage, arguing that not everyone could afford to buy out a store to make a statement. Others dismissed her advocacy as performative, claiming she cared more about headlines than real change. But the woman took these criticisms in stride, acknowledging the privilege she held while emphasizing the importance of using it responsibly. In interviews, she often reminded audiences that her goal wasn't perfection, it was progress. "We're all learning," she said during a panel discussion. "What matters is that we keep moving forward." Her humility and determination earned her widespread admiration. People admired not just her financial power but her moral courage. She represented something rare yet essential, someone willing to challenge systems of oppression despite having achieved success within those very systems. Her story served as a reminder that true leadership isn't about maintaining power, it's about redistributing it. Back at the boutique, the lessons learned from the incident continued to shape its future. Managers implemented policies to ensure accountability, including anonymous feedback forms for customers and regular check-ins with employees about workplace culture. Staff members participated in ongoing training sessions focused on bias awareness, emotional intelligence, and conflict resolution. Slowly but surely, the boutique transformed from a symbol of exclusion to a model of inclusivity, a testament to the power of self-reflection and collective effort. The woman's impact extended far beyond the boutique, influencing other luxury retailers to reevaluate their practices. Major brands began adopting similar initiatives, partnering with diverse designers and launching campaigns featuring models of different races, sizes, and abilities. Fashion weeks around the world embraced inclusivity, showcasing collections that reflected the richness of human experience. Critics noted that these changes weren't always seamless. Some efforts came across as tokenistic, but the overall trend pointed toward progress. In addition to her advocacy work, the woman channeled her energy into creative pursuits. She collaborated with emerging designers to launch a capsule collection, inspired by themes of resilience and empowerment. Each piece told a story, blending artistry with activism. Proceeds from the collection went directly to organizations supporting underprivileged women, furthering her commitment to giving back. The line sold out within days, proving that consumers craved authenticity and purpose in the products they purchased. Despite her achievements, the woman never lost sight of her roots. She frequently visited neighborhoods where she had grown up, mentoring young people and encouraging them to dream big. She spoke openly about the challenges she faced along the way, sharing stories of rejection and resilience to remind others that setbacks are part of the journey. Her vulnerability resonated deeply, inspiring countless individuals to pursue their passions despite obstacles. By the end of the year, the boutique stood as a testament to the possibility of redemption. It wasn't perfect, no institution ever, But it had made strides toward becoming a space where everyone felt welcome. Employees greeted customers warmly, remembering the lesson they had learned the hard way. Assumptions can be costly, both financially and morally. The store's clientele diversified, drawing shoppers from all walks of life who appreciated its renewed focus on inclusivity and quality. And yet, for all the accolades and transformations, the woman's greatest legacy lay in the conversations she sparked. She didn't just change a boutique, she changed mindsets. By standing firm in the face of prejudice, she reminded us all of the importance of treating others with dignity and respect. Her story became a beacon of hope, proof that even in spaces designed to exclude, inclusion is possible, if we're willing to fight for it. To this day, whenever someone walks into that boutique or any high-end store, they're greeted with warmth and sincerity. Employees remember the lessons they learned the hard way. Never judge a book by its cover. Because sometimes the person you underestimate might just turn your world upside down, in the best possible way. The boutique had come a long way since the day the young woman walked in wearing casual clothes and left having bought everything. What started as a moment of reckoning for the staff evolved into a cultural shift, not just within the store, but across the entire luxury retail industry. The lessons learned from that unforgettable incident resonated deeply, inspiring changes that went beyond policies and training programs. They touched hearts and minds. For the boutique's employees, every customer interaction became an opportunity to practice what they had preached during their sensitivity workshops. They no longer made assumptions based on appearances. Instead, they greeted everyone with genuine warmth and curiosity. A mother shopping with her teenage daughter received the same level of attention as a celebrity browsing for red carpet gowns. An elderly man looking for a gift for his wife was treated with as much care as a wealthy client, buying multiple items. These small yet significant shifts created a welcoming atmosphere that drew people back, not because of the merchandise, but because of how they felt when they were there. The boutique also embraced transparency in its operations. It published annual reports detailing its progress toward inclusivity, including statistics on employee diversity, partnerships with marginalized designers, and community outreach efforts. Customers appreciated this openness, knowing that the store wasn't just paying lip service to change, it was actively working to make it happen. This newfound trust translated into loyalty, as shoppers began recommending the boutique to friends and family who shared its values. Meanwhile, the woman at the center of the story continued to inspire others through equal threads. Her platform grew exponentially, attracting global attention from activists, entrepreneurs, and everyday individuals seeking guidance and hope. She traveled extensively, speaking at conferences, universities, and community events about the importance of breaking down barriers and fostering equality. Her message was simple yet profound. Everyone deserves to be seen, heard, and respected. One of her most impactful projects involved partnering with schools to educate students about systemic discrimination and the power of allyship. Through interactive workshops and storytelling sessions, she encouraged young people to challenge stereotypes and advocate for fairness. Many participants described these experiences as life-changing, vowing to carry the lessons forward into their own communities. Teachers reported seeing positive shifts in classroom dynamics, with students becoming more empathetic and inclusive. Her influence extended to the corporate world as well. Major companies invited her to consult on diversity and inclusion initiatives, eager to learn from her expertise. Executives listened intently as she shared insights on creating equitable workplaces and dismantling biases. Some organizations implemented her suggestions immediately, while others took time to adapt, but all acknowledged the value of her perspective. Her ability to bridge gaps between industries underscored the universality of her message. Respect and equality are non-negotiable. Back at the boutique, the transformation continued to unfold. Managers noticed a marked improvement in employee morale as staff members felt empowered to voice concerns and contribute ideas. Team meetings became collaborative spaces where everyone's input mattered, fostering a sense of belonging among employees. Customers picked up on this positivity, often commenting on how friendly and helpful the staff seemed. Word spread quickly, and soon the boutique became known not just for its products but for its people. The woman occasionally visited the store, though she did so quietly, without fanfare. Employees recognized her instantly, greeting her with gratitude and admiration. "Thank you for teaching us," one associate said during one such visit, her voice filled with sincerity. The woman smiled softly, replying, "It's not me you should thank, it's yourselves. You're the ones doing the hard work every day." Her humility only deepened their respect for her. As years passed, the boutique's reputation reached new heights. It won awards for its commitment to inclusivity and innovation, earning recognition from industry leaders and customers alike. Its success proved that luxury and humanity could coexist, that exclusivity didn't have to mean exclusion. Other stores followed suit, adopting similar practices and contributing to a broader movement toward equity in retail. For the woman, the journey was far from over. Though she had achieved remarkable success, she remained grounded, always reminding herself why she started. Her advocacy wasn't about personal gain, it was about creating a world where everyone could thrive. She often reflected on the challenges she faced along the way, the dismissive looks, the whispered insults, the moments of self-doubt, and found strength in knowing she had overcome them. Those experiences shaped her resilience and fueled her determination to keep pushing for change. Her legacy lived on not just in the boutique or Equal Threads, but in the countless lives she touched. Young designers inspired by her mentorship launched successful careers. Entrepreneurs emboldened by her example broke into competitive markets. Families affected by her charitable work rebuilt their lives with dignity and hope. Each story added another thread to the tapestry of progress she wove, proving that even small actions can spark monumental change. And yet, despite all she accomplished, the woman never sought applause or accolades. To her, the true measure of success lay in the smiles of those she helped, the joy of a child receiving school supplies, the relief of a struggling artist securing funding, the pride of a single mother starting her own business. These moments reminded her that wealth isn't measured in dollars but in impact. Looking back, the boutique staff often marveled at how drastically their perspective had shifted. What had once been a routine day of catering to wealthy clients transformed into a pivotal moment of growth. They learned that treating others with kindness costs nothing but yields immeasurable rewards. They discovered that true luxury isn't found in price tags or brand names. It's found in connection, compassion, and courage. To this day, whenever someone walks into the boutique or any high-end store, they're greeted warmly, without judgment. Employees remember the lesson they learned the hard way: never judge a book by its cover. Because sometimes the person you underestimate might just turn your world upside down, in the best possible way. In the end, the woman's story wasn't just about revenge or vindication. It was about justice, resilience, and the enduring power of standing up for what's right. She taught us that we all have the ability to challenge systems of oppression, whether through bold acts or quiet persistence. And she reminded us that true wealth lies not in material possessions, but in the lives we touch and the changes we inspire. Her name may have faded from headlines, but her impact will endure for generations to come, a testament to the fact that one person truly can make a difference.